I'm Carly Sagata, and I've always had a fascination with the paranormal. Throughout my life, I've heard other people's stories about strange happenings until I finally had my own encounters. Out of optimism and just plain curiosity, I am joined by my co-host and brother Jose. Together, we'll venture out into the dark and mysterious world to uncover the possibilities of the supernatural plane. This is Lycaos Radio.
Looks like it.
Is this motherfucking mic on,
What's
everybody?
up, everybody? How the fuck you guys doing tonight? It's episode 5, bitch. I didn't mean to go hard in there in the beginning. Sorry, guys.
This is episode 3. We're pushing everything back. Just gonna sound like a little old monkey.
Are you seriously putting this up, though?
Yeah, we're live right now.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
This is us.
Whatevs.
Sorry if you hear that background music. It's Nox Arcana. I recommend going to check them out. It's NOX space ARCANA, and we're listening to Dark Lore Manor. How do you do that? It's pretty cool, eh? It's like the Grim Reaper just like inviting you into the mansion.
They're like, hey, welcome because you're never leaving again.
Right.
That's what it looks to me. It looks pretty crazy.
There's Nirvana.
Yeah. Thorns over there, like, what?
Yeah, Thorns. Oh yes, dude, his all beak's open. He just like, wah. We have a pretty cool episode this week, man. I actually wanted to do this for a long time. Like, you have no, I don't know if it's just me, but.
Oh no, I'm with you on that one, man.
No, I'm kidding. Dude, I'm just getting into this music, like, dude. This is like perfect, like, creepy music. This is our theme music into the studio today. No, I'm kidding. Alright, so, okay. I'm gonna ask you a question, and you gotta answer with the most honest response.
I feel like
Dude, you look like a guppy.
I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire before, you know.
Yeah, this is the $1 million question.
Yep. Did you hear that music in the back? It's like doo doo.
This is like our Twisted Jeopardy theme song. Instead
If you
of
don't answer this question right, you go to a torture chamber where
you get your nipples ripped off.
I mean, ow.
We're gonna get into this because it's been 3 minutes in and we're just like chilling here, just being weirdos, being Lycos.
Yeah, being Lycos, being tumbles.
Being driftwooders.
Yeah, we drift far, but then we come back and we're like, oh, hey, what's up?
The waves bring us back and we wave back to them.
Or, hey, Andy, what's happening?
They're like, hello, my name is Dr. Green. Alright, so have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I have.
Dude, that movie's crazy, hey? I haven't seen that in a while, actually.
Dude, the first time I seen it, man, my eyes were glued and like,
it was scary.
What's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
You know, what, like, every scene, you know, and then you seen what actually happens and, you know, what went on there. And it was messed up. It was twisted because you're like, what?
Dude, like, remember them lampshades made out of, like, their skin and shit?
Yep.
That's crazy,
That
dude.
was... Hey, I'm sorry. This may sound weird, but dude, that was creative, man.
Yeah.
That was... I mean...
There's no more...
I'm not for that, you know, but... I just gotta say that was pretty creative how he did that because, hey, you could sell it at like a fucking horror shop or something, you know what I mean?
Dude, heck yeah, Leatherface?
Yeah, just, you know, make a replica or something, have it in your house. Like, no, this is fake, guys. This is fake. I didn't do this. You know what I mean?
What? Well, okay, I totally lost you.
About the lamp, you know, say you found it at, you got it at like a shop or something.
Oh, okay, like a replica, but it's not real.
Yeah, and you brought it home, and then someone's just chilling at your house, and they're just like...
I thought you were talking about Leatherface, like a replica of Leatherface.
Oh,
like, that'd be awesome, dude.
Actually, dude, that'd be really cool. That would.
Freaky, actually.
Just be standing in your room, like...
And it's like midnight, and the moon is shining on his face, and he's just like... You know, the Leatherface?
You had it one way, but then it was moved a different way?
Oh my god, no, that's not cool. That's not cool.
That'd be messed up.
Dude.
But yeah, man.
Okay, so I just want to put a little disclaimer out there. Sorry if the music's getting kind of loud. This is a pretty intense podcast. But I just want to put a disclaimer out there. We are going to be talking about some pretty crazy things in here. We're going to be talking about torture, murder, and also we're going to be talking about rape. So if you are sensitive to any of those, then you can... Maybe this isn't the episode for you, but definitely go check out our Ghost podcast because we talk some crazy things in there. I was really interested in this when we were both just like, let's do serial killers, you know? Because through all my life, I've always been fascinated with like serial killers. I'm not like obsessed and oh my god, kill me, oh my god, it turns me on. Like I'm not like that, you know? Like
Yeah.
Did you know there were groupies for serial killers? Dude, heck yeah, man.
That is a new fact.
Dude, like when Richard Ramirez was caught, there were girls in there that would like, that would like try to flirt with him while he was, you know, jury, or he had a court hearing.
Oh, trial? He was on
trial.
Okay.
There we go. I couldn't think of it. But yeah, there'd be girls in there just like, you know, laughing, giggling at him, and he'd turn around, wink at them, and they'd go crazy. And there were girls that would argue with each other over him. And there was this one girl, when they were taking Richard up to the prison or booking him in and stuff, she was on the side of the highway, and she actually pulled up her shirt and flashed him. The officers thought that was for them, but it was really for Richard. And so yeah, the serial killers got groupies, dude.
I mean, okay, all I gotta say to that is, okay, it's the only time holy shit, dude.
Okay, and you know what their groupies actually referred to Richard Ramirez? They referred to him as the Jim Morrison of serial killers.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, look at a lot of these serial killers. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, they were all good-looking dudes, and some girls are gonna be like, oh my god, he's so hot and messed up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, some girls are weird.
Yeah, they were like, well...
Real daddy issues.
That, no. They're just like, well, I feel like I'm just as twisted as this guy, so... You know. Man,
I'm actually gonna be talking. Excited me to.
No,
we both sound like goats.
Because we're just like, we did that.
Yeah, we're the like, remember that mumbling sass Bigfoot episode we're gonna do?
Oh man.
So we're gonna be doing a Bigfoot episode, but
this will be coming in the near future.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. But I'm actually gonna be talking about the Ken and Barbie doll killers, which is kind of like that. So.
Nice.
Dude, and if you don't know who the Ken and Barbie doll killers are, well, Ken and Barbie killers, I don't know why I said doll, like they're not gonna go around and kill dolls, you know? Like that would be weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna get into them too. We're gonna take a quick break, real quick, and then we're gonna get into the definition of a serial killer, and then we're gonna start getting into, you know, what serial killers are, how they think, and what it's like, and how to become a serial killer. You know, pretty much the first steps into how to really see if someone will be a serial killer, you know, on the path of becoming one. So, stay tuned, and we'll be back. Dude, it's like raining outside, plus this music is crazy.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time now.
Really do this podcast, because this is a dark episode, dude. Like, it's really dark.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this, man.
Yeah, I am too. Always been wanting to do kind of like serial killers and stuff.
I mean, and plus, you know, I feel like I learn a lot out of every episode we've done. Like, some stuff, like, I knew a little bit, but then I learned a lot more. Like I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, or
yeah,
wow, I never knew that before.
So if someone brings up a serial killer and you really want to like lay their butts out, just be like, yo man, this is what's up about that serial killer you just did. What's up? Something like that, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it really, like, I like having that little pocket full of information. Like, I've been listening to podcasts this whole week, dude. It was crazy, man. I was sitting there, and I'm pretty sure my coworkers were just like, dude, Carly's crazy. Like, I've been listening to, like, just creepy stuff, and listening to, like, this type of music, trying to get into the mind of this. So this is gonna be a fun podcast.
Oh, man. Can't wait.
Yeah. So let's get into this. A serial killer is usually a person who murders 3 or more people and the murders take place over more than a month. And they also include a cooling off period, where they take a break. You know how like Jeffrey Dahmer, he waited years to kill his next victim. So usually there's a cooling off period between each, like, say someone kills 5 people in this month, takes 2 months off, kills another like 6 people, and it's like that.
Try not to make themselves too obvious.
Yeah, or sometimes it's just like it already satisfies them, and then when the craving comes back in, then you just want to kill again.
Yeah.
It's like, I think of it as being a vampire, or being a werewolf, like you eat the first night, and then the next day you're really hungry, and but that's just what I think. It's crazy. If you can hear that in the background, we're really sorry. That's that's kind of cool though, if you think about it. I mean, all right. So Jose, you want to hear a pretty cool fact? I mean, I told you this before, but I think this is pretty shocking, to be honest. And according to the FBI's elite serial crime unit, there are approximately 25 to 50 active serial killers in the USA.
Dude.
That's like. And think about it, that could be like a killer every state, or every other state, Yeah,
there could be a few,
Yeah.
in Michigan. Well,
Yeah.
Can't say there could be.
They're just really good at hiding.
Yeah, there is. I know there is.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered, you hear of serial killers coming from like an area, like a state, right? Like we got Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer from, Wisconsin. Then we got a lot of killers like the Zodiac Killer, Richard Ramirez, based out of California. Then you have some in Florida, like Eileen Wuornos. But do you ever wonder which state housed the most serial killers? Like where the most serial killers actually came from?
Actually, I did, yeah.
Well, you want to know another fun fact? Alright, so New York is actually the leading with the most serial killers to have come from there. And 137 separate cases were reported. So, 137 cases of serial killers.
New York, too, I
mean, think about it. There's
I was kind of, honestly, when there's
over a couple million people in that.
That's true.
In the state alone.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking down south, man. New Orleans and...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, second is California.
Okay.
That's 128 that came out of there. And Florida, actually down south, when you asked that, Florida had 112. And then Texas, bump on over to the Lone Star State, coming out with 97 cases. And the last is Washington. And if you know anything, Ted Bundy was actually based out of Washington, the first serial killer. He was back and forth, right? Washington and Utah.
Yep, there was definitely know there's a few inspired. There's actually, come to think of it, and I know like a lot of people think this too. I mean, believe it or not, man, you could have be walking on the road and you see some random person and you just say, oh, that's a regular dude, but like all of a sudden you see his face on the news and you're like, I just seen that guy. Just saying. You know what I mean? You never know. You don't know.
So before we talk about all of this, we just want to, we just want to say why do they kill? That's pretty much like, how could you be that sick and demented to actually just want to take someone's life and do it in such a graphic way? Whether you're like sexually assaulting them or physically assaulting them and also in all of this you're mentally assaulting them as well. So you got the whole triple threat. Like, if you ever think about it, why could Jeffrey Dahmer just like chop his victims' heads off and just leave them in his house?
With no remorse.
Yeah.
I think honestly, most of the cases is a pretty messed up childhood.
That's actually one of them too.
You know what I mean? That's one. How would you say that?
That's one. That's actually one of the 3 most popular ways to describe or to point out a serial killer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, man. I was trying to,
And like I said, a popular way of this is one of the parents, would force their kids to watch them have sex with partners, even multiple partners.
See, that would mess person up, man.
That's what happened to the Vampire of Dusseldorf over there in Germany, I believe. His mother watched him, or forced him to watch her have sex with certain partners and stuff.
I remember watching something on that.
Mm-hmm.
That whole case there. I don't know what to say about that, man. That's just messed up, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, how could you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, and then, now look at the kid, now look at the kid, or what happened, what he grew up to be, and what he did.
And a lot of the time too, when they do that to the other people, when they force them to have intercourse with them, it's like a power thing. Like, you have to be more powerful than that person. That's why you have to, force yourself on that person. The other two ways to really point out how you can tell a serial killer is, killing animals with no remorse. That's a big one right there.
I had read something on somebody. I got information on dealing with something like that. And
yeah, like, more importantly, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, like, that's one of my favorite serial killers. So, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, before he really started killing people, he would, he
experimented on.
Yeah, he loved the way they found, like, animals underneath animal bones underneath their house. And so he loved the way the bones sounded as soon as they hit that metal pail. And they liked that. And so he would play with them bones like that. But then he really started experimenting on, like, birds and squirrels and all of that. And,
dissecting and...
Yeah, that's one thing I could never get.
I dissected before.
Dude, I've dissected too, but it's not like you're going out there. Like, we could go out there right now and kill Thorny and Kane. And just, like, dissect him and play with him and stuff. Like, that's what...
For fun?
Yeah, that's like serial killer stuff.
It is. If you think about it, it's not... It's... Like
psychological.
It's first degree.
Yeah.
Oh, what comes next after that?
Like, it's.
Oh, this ain't enough. This ain't enough. Doing this is not enough. So what about trying it on something else?
Like, it's curiosity. Like, remember on Dexter?
Yeah.
Remember when his dad Harry came up to him and was like, where's the neighbor's dog? And he told him that he killed it and dissected it.
Exactly.
And stuff. And that's one thing. I love animals. We're animal lovers here.
Mm-hmm.
I love my dog. I love all animals. I could never just do that. I can't even kill a freaking squirrel. I could never kill a deer. That's why I've never been hunting. I could never kill a deer.
Sorry, when you said it's squirrel, something just came back.
Yeah, because didn't you hit a squirrel with them?
Me and my brother were walked right outside, and for some reason I looked to the right, and on the wood pile there was a little chipmunk. I swear to God, I was about 30 yards. There was a softball to the left of me. I'm left-handed, by the way. Took it. I was like, okay, I got the aim. All right. 3, 2, 1. Chucked it as fast and hard as I could. All you see is a little dot just fly off the wood pile. Run over there, the little chipmunk shaking. Fucking, I think I killed him right on the spot, man. And he was dead. I picked him up and his tail fell off or something, but...
Dude, he must have chopped his tail off, dude.
Dude.
Really crapped his pants.
Yeah, I killed him, man. I didn't...
Did you hold a memorial at least? Just like your little Elvin?
Well, our hunting dog kind of...
You killed Elvin! How do you're a murderer. That's why they haven't had any other sequels.
Hey, man, he was a stunt man, alright? No.
You came in the wrong house, man!
Yeah. Hey, you shouldn't have been around here.
Or like on open season, you're like, hey, get it! Or what does he say? Remember that squirrel? It's like, hey, get your own tree!
Oh, that older one?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I forgot. Kids just watched it a couple days ago, too. Jackson did.
It's funny.
Oh, man, I forgot.
Alright, anyways, so let's get back to how to point out an early serial killer. And then the third most famous one is arsony, which is if you really love to play with fire and, just play with matches, lighters, and you just love the way fire is and you're obsessed about it. And it's just, it's like, that fire damages things and you love destruction. And it's like, it doesn't follow any rules if you really think about it. Fire doesn't follow any rules. And so the mind of a serial killer is going to be like, I want to be like that. I want to be able to feel the power. It's
have control. And
yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't have control, but
right.
at the same time, you wanted to control other people.
Yeah.
I guess, because fire is really like that. It wants to burn, so it burns whatever it's in its path until you stop it.
Indestructible.
So the three most notable descriptions about finding out an early serial killer is one. It's actually called voyeurism. Voyeurism. Yeah. Which is the practice of gaining sexual pleasure from watching others when they are naked or engaging in sexual activity. And so that's we were referring to back when, when they were forced to watch someone have sex.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's what they like to do that too. Either that or, like I said, they sexually abuse them. Killing animals, and then arsoning. So those are the three really big ones.
If you think about it, what you just said, every one of the famous serial killers have practiced some of that or done that. You know what I mean? Like we said, dissecting and being an arsonist.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
sorry if our mics kind of cut out back and forth. Like our wiring is really loose it's a smaller jack than what it's supposed to be. It's a little loose, so if it cuts in and out, I'm really sorry about that. Wait, can you repeat what you were saying?
Say what you said earlier about them having those three characteristics you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Being an arsonist and
voyeurism.
Yeah, voyeurism. Think about it. Yeah, like all the serial killers have experienced that or tried that out. You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of think about it. It sparks something in their head. Like, oh man, I can't explain it. You know what I mean? It triggers something.
Yeah, it's like trigger.
Yeah. You want to go out and venture out on some other stuff. You know what I mean?
You kind of become this monster if you think about it.
Yeah. The monster inside.
Until the 1970s, serial killers were actually called mass murderers, and they didn't really know the term serial killer. It hadn't even been invented. That's not even, they weren't like, okay, this is a serial killer. Because they didn't really know, it wasn't really a word that was invented. And serial killer is really referring to someone who kills in a series. So if you think about it, serial killer, like killing a series, yeah.
Alright.
And this was ultimately coined by two men who were Robert Ressler and John Douglas. They were infatuated with serial killers and the minds of them and why they killed so many people, So they were they kept seeing the patterns that they were repeating, 3 or more people. So repeating, and they're like, well, instead of calling them mass murderers, we just call them serial killers.
Yeah.
Now it really sticks because as soon as you think of serial killer, what do you think? You think of Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Gein. You think
of big names.
Yeah,
John Wayne Gacy.
Yep, exactly. And if you think of Charles Manson wasn't a serial killer. He was just someone who told them what to do. He was a manipulator. He was, he didn't really kill anyone, physically.
Just told them how to do it.
Yeah.
Really.
He was like, and a crazy fact about this is he would actually give the people LSD sometimes, and he would either take none of it or a little bit of it. So he was like, those were his zombies, and he was the master.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So serial killer has only been around maybe 45, 50 years. That term was really called. That term has really been around.
That's really cool, man.
So we're going to take another break, because after that we're going to be talking about movies based on serial killers, and a little bit of some famous serial killers. And this is when we're going to be talking about torture and, rape and all that. So if you're sensitive to that subject, definitely want to go, you could shut this off if you'd like, or if you want, you can go check out our Ghost Podcast. That was pretty cool. We talk about our own personal ghost stories and all that. And we're actually going to be talking about one of Jose's personal Jeffrey Dahmer encounters. So just stay tuned after the break.
Dude, this one time I was eating fries and I was back. My sister Vanessa was driving my Jeep.
Yeah.
My mom was in the front, I was in the back. We got Burger King. I was fucking excited. I was hungry, dude. Fuck, dude. Those fries, I was just like, God, fucking just smacking. Fuck, I look up, man. I was like, my mom's like, I was like, she's like, holy fuck. And that's what she thought. I just looked at her. I was like, shit, man. I didn't even think. I forgot my mom was here.
That was funny. I could just imagine that too, dude.
Holy shit, crap. Man. Love you, Mom. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, man. We love you. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Hey, we love the team, the pack out there. For all you guys watching. Sorry. For all you guys listening out there, all you listeners since...
I finally caught that. I was like, why'd he stop?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of stumbled back there.
Tumble?
Yeah, we're tumblers. You'll find us drifting off to different topics and different things, but we'd just like to thank you guys who've been with us for, since we started.
You've been patient too, because I know sometimes I don't find that motivation to like the newest video, and it sucks because I'll be like, yeah, I gotta get it up, and then I'll just be like, I'm gonna sleep.
Hey, but you know what is pretty cool though? Like, we do take those little periods of, what is a break or a rest?
Yeah, a break. It's like we're resting, and definitely find more information on that.
And when you come back, you feel like feel more, refreshed and smoother.
So, we just talked about what a serial killer is and what the steps are, and really seeing what. Wait. Our mic just took a crap on us again. Sorry, guys.
We're still here.
Yep. Alright. But like I was saying, we were looking at the steps that really describing and seeing what the first signs of a serial killer was.
Yep.
And before the break, we were going to talk about movies based on serial killers. This is a pretty cool one. Sorry, that was weird. I had something in my throat. Moving on to the movies based on serial killers. I love horror movies. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've lived off of horror movies. Like, it's crazy. Like, I think that's the reason why I'm so scared, is because I'm on horror movies. Like, I've seen horror movies my whole life. Like, horror movie after horror movie, scary, slasher, romantic horror. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea if there's such a thing, but
my Bloody Valentine.
I guess. No, I'm kidding.
Just kidding, man.
But one of my favorite scary movies really are based around serial killers.
Oh, okay.
This is the scariest movie if you really think about it. I mean, Freddy, there's, of course, you got Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, Friday the 13th, then you also have, like we were talking about earlier, we got Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then we have Hannibal, one of my favorites, Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, mine too.
And one of my favorite movies, actually, is if you go out there, go check it out. It's called Hannibal Rising. It's pretty much the prequel to Hannibal Lecter. So if you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs, definitely go check out Hannibal Rising, see where he kind of came from, his whole background and everything. And Gaspard Ulliel in that, I'm just gonna say, is fine as fuck. But that's just me.
That's our host. She's always just...
Gaspard, if you're listening to this, just call me. I mean, I'm always here. I am waiting for you.
Ask her for her digits.
Ask me for my number.
Just kidding. I don't talk like that. No.
Oh, yes. Alright, so, you've probably seen this all over Facebook, right? It's Ross Lynch from that Disney movie, or the Disney Channel series, Allie and AJ, or Austin and Allie, or... Yeah, right there. Austin and Allie. He's gonna play Jeffrey Dahmer in a Netflix movie. It's going to be called My Friend Dahmer. And I guess Zac Efron, which is another babe out there, holy fuck, why is so much? Anyways, he's going to be playing Ted Bundy, and I'm going to watch that, because, I mean...
Oh, yeah, I've seen some stuff on that.
But if you think about it, this is really, like I said, there's going to be girls obsessed... Okay, girls were obsessing over vampires, and then werewolves, and then, superheroes, and now they're going to be obsessing over serial killers, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I watched Ted Bundy because, Zac Efron is a complete, piece of tan chocolate that I would lick off of male hookers.
This is what I gotta sit through and, just...
Hopefully you got that disclaimer
kidding,
ready.
guys.
This is gonna be a weird episode, okay? This is just weird.
Hey, but it's good to be back, though, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's good to
Good
be.
to see you again, man.
It's been a week and a half, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another movie that's going to be coming out is I call it the triple threat. Right? There's Brad Pitt for me. Well, this is my triple threat. Brad Pitt, Rob Lowe, and Jack. The boats are coming. Jack.
Johnny.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Really?
Those are my Hollywood
I was
triple
gonna
threats.
say, every girl's like Johnny Depp.
No, he reminds me of Kung Fu. That's why I don't really attracted to that. Kung Fu looks like him, so I just don't find him attractive
that's
anymore.
Your dad. That's your dad.
Yeah, like I saw that and I was like, that really looks like someone. And I was like Kung Fu, and I was like. Anyways, so Leonardo DiCaprio, it's a good thing none of our family members look like him. I'm just gonna knock on wood because he's actually gonna be playing one of the very first and most infamous serial killer in American history, H.H. Holmes. And yeah, Leonardo's gonna be talking about that. I don't know why it got really creepy, but if you guys are scared right now, you might as well go and change your pants, because I'm pretty sure you crapped them. Because, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be portraying H.H. Holmes. And this is one of my favorite serial killers on there because of what he was most known for.
He was the inventor. He was a pioneer of this.
The pioneers just ride these things for miles.
Yeah.
You see the Saw, right?
Yeah.
So if you are familiar with Saw, it's like a maze of torture devices. And H.H. Holmes was actually really super famous for that. Because he built this old pharmacy and he renovated it right into a 3-story hotel. And each of these rooms had different torture devices. And then there was also a basement, what he did down there.
I remember reading on, he had chutes, so he could dispose of the bodies. They'd just go right down to the basement and they'd be ready to burn them and stuff. And
that's crazy,
afterwards,
dude.
You know what I mean? So it was like a process.
Yeah.
The whole murder castle.
Like a little industrial machine of killing.
Yeah.
It's like a body ping pong. Or not ping pong, body pinball.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, I just pictured that. Okay, just like a layout.
Mm-hmm.
And there was at least how many?
Over 100.
Yeah. 100 rooms. Yeah, it was just like one level to another level, and just.
And the way this happens time and time again. I don't know why. Sorry, it got loud again. Alright, but a way he got victims in the first place was, he decked it out to look like a hotel on the outside, but inside it was like, not paradise, it was the opposite of paradise, it was like hotels, Transylvania or something like that, and it was just like your typical like scary movie torture house. It was like a hostel, but a more hostile hostel.
Do you think you remember American Horror Story?
Yeah.
And you think they might have got a little inspired from?
Dude, Evan Peters actually played someone similar to like H.H. Holmes in the American Horror Story Hotel. I was just reading about that actually.
Really?
He's supposed to portray a young H.H. Holmes.
I was just thinking about that, 'cause, if they kind of, it's cool. It's cool as hell.
Yeah, I believe that's what it said. I'm not sure if it's true or not,
okay.
But yeah, it definitely has that.
It was just how it was like 2 and 2. I was like, dude, that's pretty cool.
His real name was actually Herman Webster Mudgett, but he just called himself H.H. Holmes or Dr. Henry H. Holmes. That was really what his professional name was. Yeah, like I said, he was a doctor. He was a medical student from Michigan, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Michigan and Wisconsin.
I know, it's like
just crazy.
When I was I was looking up H.H. Holmes, and it said Michigan. I was just like, this is pretty cool because we live in Michigan, obviously,
Yeah.
and
I guess he had a family up here in Michigan, and he had a family down in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And he would fly back and forth and pretend he was married. He was like, seeing like two women.
Yeah, he had more than. That's a fact too. He had 3 wives.
Yeah, he named himself like 3 or 4 different times so he can move from one place to another. I think he actually he moved to Pennsylvania for a short time and he came back.
He was a scam artist.
Yeah.
Big time, dude. Big time. Did you know that he was also referred as the Beast of Chicago?
Yeah, I've heard that. That's really that's a popular name.
For you to get that name, like, and that was way back then, 1800s, or late 1800s, right?
Yeah, 1893, I believe.
Okay.
That was during the Columbian Exposition. That's what it said. So it's around that area, or around that time range. And it's also crazy to think that his hotel was then known as the Murder Castle.
I know, that's cool. That's pretty cool for back then, and it's pretty creative to me. That sounds creepy too.
Okay, it sounds like this music.
Like Murder Castle. What do you think of when you hear Murder Castle?
I think of like a castle from like Transylvania, like Dracula and all that. It'd be pretty crazy. And just like it's thundering and storming out, and there's like bats everywhere, and there's like fog. There's like fog at the fence, and you gotta it's a creaky fence. As soon as you open up to it, it's like that.
Like remember that album, the first one we seen?
Yeah, it was like that. So let's get into a basic history about H.H. Holmes. 1886, he actually moved to Chicago, Illinois, and he soon found work in a pharmacy using his now infamous alias, Dr. Henry H. Holmes. And he took over the business, and its original owner actually mysteriously disappeared. And you know what happened. Like, we all know what happened.
Right away.
Like, he was just like, alright, dude, you can have this pharmacy, let me go take a little vacation. No, I'm kidding. No, he probably killed him, It was like, building was a 3-story building, and he eventually created an elaborate house of horrors. So, the upper floors contained his living quarters, and so he'd live there, and then many small rooms were converted into torture rooms, and that's where he killed his victims. So let's talk about some of these rooms. Alright, he had gas jets, so he could really asphyxiate the victims. Like you said, they had the chutes where they move bodies down to the basements, and there were also trapdoors. It was pretty much, you didn't know what was going to happen around that corner. The only one that knew was Holmes. I guess that's where he felt at home.
No.
Yes. And the way he disposed of them were, like Jose said, in a kiln. And another way they would dispose of them was really, really super smart, dude. I honestly could never see anyone ever doing this. He sold them bodies to what did they? The medical students, and
yeah, he sold the skeletons of his victims to medical science.
That's crazy. Like, so they didn't know that these were just they were just bones.
There's human bones, but they didn't know that he took the lives of them people, and that they were their skeletons.
Dude, and he was making a living off that too. I mean,
actually, he was.
But yeah, that was his hotel. And there's definitely a lot of victims when Chicago's World Fair opened up, and
that was a hot spot, man. For him, that was his opportunity.
Especially during the World Fair, there's gonna be a bunch of people coming around. Back in 1893,
they're gonna need a place to stay.
And he's gonna be like, "Oh, you can check in here, but you'll never check out."
Yeah. Once you come in here, you die.
So you got anything else?
Yeah, I actually got a few facts. I mean, I don't know. We
about H.H. Holmes?
Yeah. Well, as we both know, he stole disfigured corpse. We went through that one already. He was married to more than one woman, 3 to be exact, and The murder hotel was a mystery to many, even those who helped build it. Yeah, they had no clue, to know what was going on. And we mentioned this before, he sold the skeletons of victims in medical science. Holmes was actually paid about $7,500 by Hearst newspaper to tell his story. It had an amount of how much it would have been now. It was probably like 270,000 or something, you know. But that's how much. That's basically all I got really on him. And well, when he passed, he met his maker around May 7th, 1896, where he was hung for the murder of Benjamin Pitzel. He was like a sidekick, or like an accomplice. Okay. His accomplice, through like all the scams and stuff. And it is said that Holmes' victim count went from 20 to 100 victims, with some ranging as high as 200 killings.
Holy crap, dude.
So
that's like a small village.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting, I thought. And
that is interesting, dude.
I learned a lot about him. The first legit serial killer.
Dude, and it's crazy too because he had that little House of Horrors type thing.
Yep.
And it's like literally a movie.
Like I said, he's an innovator.
Yeah.
He's a pioneer of this whole topic. You know what I mean?
It's like just like the pioneers did.
I know, I knew it. But yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I can't speak for the serial killers after him, but they definitely knew about him and what he did, and they, you know, damn well they had a little bit of inspiration somehow or whatever. You know what I mean? But you know,
especially those that really love to torture other people.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, that's what I have on H.H. Holmes.
Alright, so yeah, that's going to be a movie, and Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be playing that.
Definitely going to watch that one.
Heck yeah, man, it's going to be awesome, dude. So, let's get back to some more famous movies. A really famous one because of the actress that plays it. I'm pretty sure you've heard of her, because who hasn't heard of her, right? And she really is one of my favorite actresses because she plays in Aeon Flux. That's a pretty badass movie. Like, if you've never seen it, it got poor ratings, yeah, but in like a sci-fi type effect, it's pretty cool. This is the movie called Monster, and this is a pretty good movie, I guess. My mom really loved this movie, Monster. She watched it a lot. She really liked it. And Charlize Theron plays Arlene Wuornos. And the reason why it's so popular is because Charlize Theron is such a beautiful woman, you know. They did some crazy effects on her to make her look like that. Look like almost identical to Arlene Wuornos.
They did a good job.
Yeah. They just think about that, the effects in Monster to make Charlize Theron look almost identical to the real life Eileen. That's crazy. Like, dude, have you ever seen it?
I think I might have. I'm not sure.
Here, let me show you. That's her in that movie. Yeah. It looks exactly almost like Eileen, dude.
That's good. That's really good.
Heck yeah. But yeah, let's get back to Monster. Sorry, I was just trying to look up the picture. So Eileen was known around the Florida area and was a prostitute, actually, who stole money from their victims and then killed them. And she didn't want what other serial killers got, whether it was pleasure or just to be more powerful than the victims when it came to sex. She just did it for money, and she did it just steal. Her background was like a typical serial killer, and she came from a pretty crazy background. Her mom left her with her grandparents. She grew up thinking that her grandparents were her parents and her aunts and uncles were her brothers and sisters. And she actually had a younger brother, I guess. They were, having sex even before 11.
Damn.
Yeah. Her mom came back and had a stepdad or something, and then he sexually abused her, whatever, and all that. But she was the 10th woman in history, or known history, to be a serial killer. And the reason why they say she's the 10th, there could be serial killers also that were women, but they didn't expect women back then. That could be guilty for such a crime. That they could commit such a crime.
No, just because of
being a woman, you were fancy and
more likely, being a man,
yeah,
more masculine and more, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, they didn't expect girls to do it because we were supposed to be all nice and help me, it's a killer. But
that's where they got smart, and well, some of them, and there was some, probably that never got caught,
So, she was a prostitute. She did prostituting most of her life, and then she finally died in 2002. So, but yeah, Monster is one of the more famous serial killer movies.
Like I might remember seeing that when I was like maybe 12, 13, maybe.
So another one that I want to see actually is, I don't know why I haven't seen it yet, was Dahmer, like we were talking about earlier. And like the title, it's actually about serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. And Jeffrey is based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which he is ultimately known for as the Milwaukee Cannibal. And other than this, he lured his victim into his houses, mainly males, mainly, gay nightclubs, like secret gay nightclubs and stuff. And he would go there and be like, yo, what's up, baby? And want to come back to my place, and go there, and they usually killed him, either after sex or he had sex with their dead body. So I want to get through one of the most famous, who just does this moment, okay? Was when he tried to turn someone into a sex zombie slave. How? I've always just been intrigued by him, But it's the dude survived, I believe, either 8 or 18 hours. He drilled open through his skull, and he put Drano inside his head. He just wanted company, but he didn't really want anyone there, I think that's why he would collect the body parts,
So he was just afraid of being alone, but he liked being alone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I get it, man. So, and then another famous one was Silence of the Lambs and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but also Psycho, which has, what's his name? It's that Batman, Christian Bale. It has Christian Bale in it, and these three movies were based off of Ed Gein. So that's another famous one. If you've never seen any of these, they're pretty good movies. I haven't seen Psycho. I've seen a little bit of Silence of the Lambs and saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw a little bit of Monster, but I definitely want to go check those out. Alright, so let's get down to brass tacks. Here, Jose. We're going to be talking about our favorite serial killers.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I feel great.
You like SpongeBob?
Yes, I do.
I said, are you like SpongeBob?
Am I like SpongeBob?
Yep. I'm ready! Alright, so you want to go first on your top 5? Top 5, the most famous Lycaos top 5.
Yep. Lycaos top 5.
Yep, this is gonna be the most famous thing that Lycaos is gonna be famous for. I don't know why that didn't make any sense. This is what we're gonna be famous for. So this is gonna be our top 5 serial killers here on Lycaos, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Okay, my first one coming in at number 1, Richard Chase. He was known for tracking down animals, eating them.
What?
He also killed people and drank their blood.
What the fuck?
Also made smoothies out of the remains.
Nuh-uh! Dude, you're lying.
I'm not lying.
That is crazy. That's like Fear Factor.
Seems like he had a case of the munchies or something.
Dude, that's...
When I read it, I picture shit when I read shit, so...
Which serial killer was the one that made that pie out of the human flesh?
Oh, man.
That's Ed Gein, wasn't it? I can't remember. If someone... I know someone's gonna be like, I know who it is!
Yeah.
If you... Yeah, I was gonna say... if you know who it is, definitely just comment.
Let us know.
Let us know. Email us. We'll be friends. But yeah, I mean, that just reminded me of it. And smoothies, like, you gotta want a liver smoothie, like, get out of here.
Guts and,
Imagine how that smells.
everything, just,
Can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, so that was Richard Chase. That's a little bit on him. Just a little tidbit. Coming in at number 2, Henry Lee Lucas. Was a murderer best known for killing hundreds of people during the 60s and 70s, though only 3 were confirmed. Yeah,
I mean, how many murders you need to become a serial killer?
So. Yeah, he fit the resume right on that one.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got Peter Sutcliffe. Was convicted of murdering 13 women. Had 7 attempted murderers. Prostitutes were the main goal. So
they're a really popular target.
Yeah, he basically had a extreme hate, I guess, for prostitutes because he was ripped off by a prostitute and her pimp or something. I know for a fact. I think I'm getting that right, but that's what I remember.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Either that or a hate of women. Cause
that is true.
The Zodiac killer, I believe, would kill prostitutes. Or no, who was it? Ted Bundy. He had a hate towards women, so he always killed women.
Yeah, and that's that could be the same for Peter.
Yeah. I mean, coming out of the psychological sense, but nice.
My next one actually got something very special for you guys. Well,
we've been talking a lot about him throughout the podcast, actually. Well, I mean, earlier in it, somewhat throughout it, but it's probably one of my favorite ones. But since he covered it, I don't believe I covered it in my. Yeah, I didn't cover it in my top 5 because you got it. And we have the same pretty much top 5. So if you think about it, it's a top 10 altogether. So
we got this. Good job, man.
Heck yeah.
We got coming in at number 4, Richard the Night Stalker Ramirez. Although he is not the original Night Stalker.
The original Nut Stalker. I almost said that.
Nut Stalker?
No, I almost said that. I was about to be like original Nut.
No.
Okay, the original Night Stalker was never caught, but we're gonna get more into detail after.
So you could really say that he was the Night Stalker Jr.
Yeah, NJ.
Yeah. Ramirez went on a killing spree around the LA area, killing as many as 13
to 16 women.
Oh yeah.
Usually young girls, maybe
sorry,
like college.
I couldn't see that right. Oh yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's good.
13 to 16. In a spree which included shootings, rapes, mutilations.
Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast on this actually by the Generation Y, and this isn't sponsored or anything, and this isn't like anything paid towards it, but this is one of my favorite podcasts. Is the Generation Y, and you gotta check it out too, dude. I love the Generation Y. It's they're so cool, and they just talk about crazy stuff. Like they talk conspiracy theories and all of that, So definitely Generation Y, and say Lycaos sent you. So we were just talking earlier about Richard Ramirez. Remember when I said that he had groupies?
Oh yeah.
And they looked to him as the Jim Morrison of serial killers, and it was crazy. He didn't He didn't run away. He just you want to know how? Do you know one crazy way they didn't catch him? All right, so when the posters actually started coming up about Richard, he was going out of town to go see his brother back in New Mexico, right? He had no idea this was going on whatsoever, and his bike broke down, and so he ended up just catching a ride. And so he caught a ride with some dude, and he was like, I ain't got any gas money, but you can have my bike. The dude was like, alright, where do you want to go? He's like, oh, just drop me off at the bus station. So he went to the bus station, saw that, he didn't go to the bus station, I'm sorry. He went to the nearest town and got dropped off there, and was starting to walk, then all of a sudden he saw policemen. So he gets on the nearest city bus, and he takes that bus all the way, he gets on another bus, and then goes all the way back to LA. As soon as he got back to LA, there were cops everywhere, cops swarming the bus store. They were, well, what is that, the bus station, right?
Yeah.
The cops were checking out the bus station because he loved to hang out at bus stations. That's where he got most of his victims. And then Richard saw this. The cops were all there. They were checking everyone that was getting on the bus. They weren't checking anyone getting off of the bus. So hurried up, slipped off the bus, and he didn't go through the bus station. He went through the way the buses were coming in and out. So that's how he got away. The only reason why he got caught was because he went into a gas station to buy some cigs and I guess some beers or something like that, and all of a sudden these two Hispanic women were in the back, and they were starting to shout El Murderante, I think, or El Murder. It's like the Spanish word for the killer, and he didn't know that they were talking about him, but all of a sudden cops came and everything. And another crazy fact is he confessed to killing people, but as soon as his family found out, as soon as his family saw him, he started to deny everything. So it was kind of like he didn't want to be a disgrace to his family.
Yeah.
Because the first time he ever attacked someone was in her hotel room, and the reason the way he got caught was the husband came back and he was on top of her and was getting ready to sexually rape her. He ended up beating him to a bloody pulp. Any man would when they saw another man on top of their wife. And when he was caught, he said yes, that happened. They didn't have a case because the couple actually left because they weren't from out of town, and they weren't really looking to stay around for the trial. I mean, the charges were dropped and stuff, but he would tell his family that she led him there. He said that she just let him up there, and then her husband came back, but it was all her fault and stuff. So to make him look like the good guy, or to make him look like the victim, but that's not what happened, and he was just scared of what his family would think of him. But as soon as he started seeing that he was starting to become more known around the world and girls were liking him, he was like, yeah, I did all this, I did all that. He wanted the attention. So yeah, that was just a little information about Richard Ramirez. Because, like I said, the dude's one of my favorite serial killers. It's really intriguing to know about him, My
last one on my list here, Eileen Wuornos. Through 1989, the 90s. She was then a prostitute turned killer, murdered 7 Johns who were looking for sex. And earlier I know you'd mentioned her, and give a little brief, onto what she. I thought she was pretty cool. I don't know. Well, I don't know her, but.
It's like, yo, what's up,
Eileen? Yeah, she was cool as heck.
Yeah.
We go way back.
I mean, you probably wouldn't have gotten to know her because you're a dude.
Nah, I would have probably been, as soon as I said hi, dead.
Yeah.
Dead right on the spot. But no, that was my top 5 serial killers.
Alright, because we took a little break, we're just going to jump right into my top 5. Alright, so start off this top 5, we're going to go with the Ken and Barbie killers. Yep, that's exactly what they are. It's just some little dolls that run around and kill people. And that'd be crazy, dude.
That would be.
Ken and Barbie doll killers, or as they're better known by their real names, Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka. So this was based out of Ontario, and it originally started with Paul killing a couple girls before he met Carla. And how he met Carla was he was in university, and she was in high school actually, and they started hitting it off, and they started like really falling for each other. But Carla fell for Paul more than Paul saw her, because Paul wasn't like he wasn't really mentally capable of having like a mental like relationship with someone. So he just saw her as someone who was there. But Carla really loved him and really wanted to just like be like his number one girl, I guess. And she did whatever he wanted. A crazy thing that really happened, and his parents really didn't, or Carla's parents really didn't, suspect him of being someone like that. The reason why these guys are called the Ken and Barbie killers are because they were tall, or no, they weren't tall, but they were blonde, blue-haired, blonde, blue-eyed beauties that were just like, and Paul was seen as a more attractive man among the women, with pretty much like a lean physique, and he was also smart, and every girl saw him like, damn, he's good looking and fine as hell, like, let me get your number. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Carla's parents liked him and everything, and she had a little sister that was a few years younger than her, and she really thought of him as big brother, but Paul thought of her as something else. And he was just amused by the fact that she was a virgin. And this is going to be another disclaimer, we're going to be talking about rape, so if you're sensitive to the subject, then you can definitely turn away and go check out our other podcasts. We got episode 1 on torture, we have Meet the Hosts, Carly and Jose, and then we also have our weekly rant number 1, which is on motivation. And the episode 2 is on ghosts, so you can go and hear our personal stories with ghosts. And yeah, let's get right back to this. So, like I said, Paul looked at Carla's younger sister in a way that he just like sexualized her because she was a virgin. And so that's really what he was mad about. He was mad that Carla wasn't a virgin. He wanted to be the first one to kind of like take that, her virginity, This is the twisted part. When I read this, I was like, what the, She was like, okay, what if I give you your Christmas present earlier? And this is on Christmas Eve, right? And she's like, I'll let you take her virginity if I watch. And so,
holy shit.
And so while the parents were sleeping, they snuck in to her room. She wanted to be part of the cool kids, and they brought in some drinks, and then they drugged her with some sleeping medicine, and then Paul started to do what he wanted to do with her, while Carla just sat there and watched. And as long as it was making Paul happy, she didn't really care, Then all of a sudden, Carla's sister wakes up, and then Carla works at a vet. She's like a vet assistant or something like that. And then she has like this type of, it's not really chloroform, it's like a form of it that's used to knock out animals to have for surgery, And so she puts some of this, not knowing what the long effect that it's going to do on her sister. So she gives this to her sister, knocks her out again, but then instead of her waking up, she actually starts to vomit and convulse and everything, and chokes on her own vomit. And what she didn't really know is that form of chloroform was going to ultimately kill her sister. The way they played the murder off was, they played it off that the little sister had too much to drink and ultimately just choked on her throat because she was, too drunk, But yeah, this is the Ken and Barbie killers.
Man, that's twisted, man. That's and for it to be her own sibling, like, have no, feeling towards her or anything, just, we're gonna do this and not have a, give
a flying hoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was their first official, like, murder together. Then after that, Carla would videotape Paul raping women. There was one where they murdered someone. Or no, this was after the sister died, right? And after the sister died, the bed was still there, that she died on, and dude, Carla and Paul would have sex on that bed. And it would be like a pleasurable thing. These guys were crazy, man.
They're made for each other, yeah.
Yeah. And Carla actually is on parole right now. She got on parole like back in 2013, I believe. But Paul's still in there, and Carla's in the Caribbean. Their new husband.
Just out like that, just roaming around.
Mhm. Or I guess she went back to her hometown of Ontario, or was in Ontario, in like the Toronto area or something like that. And they knew about her and they petitioned her to get her out of there. So she just moved definitely out of the country. Alright, my next one is one of the most famous serial killers out there, and this guy is named Ed Gein. You know much about him. So, little known fact, his house was actually 15 minutes away from where I used to live, and this is back in Plainsville, Wisconsin. So if you've ever seen the movies based on him, like Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're gonna obviously assume he's a sick and twisted person. One of the more scarier things he did was after each victim, he would skin them, chop off the limbs, and then make what he was famous for, and that was just random house ornaments. Like he said, he made a necklace out of, I believe, nipples.
Yeah.
Yep, he made a necklace out of nipples. He would make the faces, literally the leather faces.
He made
skin
bowls
faces.
out of skulls.
Yep. He made skin lampshades and all that. But the more scarier thing he would do was he would take the parts of a woman and make a suit, like similar to a woman. And he would wear it. He would wear this suit that he made from different women. Like, he would wear this suit like that. I'm gonna repeat that for the third time. He would wear that suit made of women's body parts and skin and flesh. He would wear that.
Do you know why he did that? It resembled his mother in a way, too.
Yeah. And he would dance in the moonlight, because a lot of people would see this and they would think that he had a wife or something. And they would wonder, who was that woman dancing in the moonlight? But that was really Ed Gein. That's crazy, dude. And did you know when his mom died, I've heard rumors that he just left his mom's body in there, and he just left everything intact. His mom's body was still in there and everything. And he just locked the door and chained that room up, and he never went in there. Yeah.
He just went off the deep end there.
That dude's crazy, man. I guess one of my grandpa's buddy's dad was in the same jail cell as Ed Gein, but he didn't know who it was. He didn't know it was Ed Gein. Yeah. That was crazy, dude. When I heard that, I was like, what? Dude, being in the same cell as a serial killer? Holy.
Slayer made a song about Ed Gein.
Oh, yeah.
Dead Skin Mask.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to check that out.
I just came to my mind. I was thinking because they mention it in there towards the end,
Okay.
They're like, "Oh, speaking."
Okay.
Dance with the dead in my dreams. Listen to the hollow screams. The dead have taken my soul. Temptation lost all control. I think I got the lyrics right there.
That's crazy. Dude, that's just dark.
And please, sorry if I got the lyrics wrong. That's just what I remember.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah.
So we're coming in at number 3. Alright, so one of my all-time favorite. This is like my fascination with like dragons and like feudal Japan. This is like history's mysteries right here. I'm gonna argue with people on dragons because it was a possibility. You never know.
I don't think you want to do that with Kyle.
I think, dude, I don't even care if I'm proved wrong. I'm always gonna believe that there's been dragons. Okay, but Jack the Ripper, and he's probably one of the most notorious serial killers in all of history. If you think about it,
Everybody's heard about him.
everybody's heard about him, but no one knows exactly who he is. And that's a scary thing. I mean, obviously he's not going to be alive anymore because this is back in the 1800s. Or maybe he was immortal and he still lives on, but we just don't know it. But you can't admit that this dude just got away with one of the most heinous crimes in the world. Even though he was never caught. And still to this day, they're like, okay, this dude is definitely Jack the Ripper. Because of, look at how this is, look at how that is. Like, the clues match up, the evidence matches up.
You know, they thought Holmes was Jack the Ripper.
Really?
Yeah, because he was in the same area at the time. It was around the same time period.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, dude came over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Well, he was actually born in like Pennsylvania, but could have just been a little
it's crazy though,
made up background.
Yeah, I mean, just say if they were there at the same time, that's like, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, like we said, he was active in the 1800s, and when I picture Jack the Ripper, I always think of that trench coat with the white top hat, really nice clothes, and of course the hook, the famous Jack Ripper hook. Like, yep, it's a little T-shaped hook with the end. That's one of the most famous ones, and a lot of speculation towards this was police thought he was a surgeon, because when he would make the cuts on his victim, usually women prostitutes, it would be like a very surgical dissection. Precise dissection from the stomach. He would always cut the stomach open. I believe he took an organ from sometimes each of the victims, sometimes he wouldn't take an organ. And so back then, you couldn't really go to the police and get fingerprints, or you couldn't get hair samples or blood samples or any of that. I mean, back in the 1800s, you were just like, if you happened to catch the dude, you got lucky, But the reason why he didn't get caught is because of this technology,
It wasn't there yet.
Yeah. So my number 2 is gonna be one of the most famous serial killers in Wisconsin history. Definitely next to Ed Gein. The Domster, Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know why I said it like that, but... But, okay, I've always been, not obsessed with Jeffrey Dahmer because that's going a little too overboard, but I've always been fascinated with Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, okay, when I first heard of Jeffrey Dahmer, I was like, that's crazy. Like, just hearing his whole life story. I mean, his parents dipped out on him when he was 17. Like, they just packed up, left him, and...
Like, see you later, you gotta figure out life.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he did.
That would, that would have a lot of things running through my mind, too.
Heck yeah.
But, yeah, that would definitely...
Dude, and it's just, this is another one of the things, why he was called a Milwaukee Cannibal was because he would eat parts of his victims. Like, that's crazy. Like, why would you want to? Like, what goes through your mind, And I've always just been fascinated because cannibalism is is probably the most taboo subject in the world. Like, as soon as you hear cannibal, it's nothing good. No one wants to hear about it. Everything is just like...
They're zombies.
Yeah, like zombies or monsters. Just like you think of a monster when you think of Hannibal, or not Hannibal. I mean, yes, Hannibal.
Hannibal the cannibal.
But you think of monster when someone's like cannibal. The dude made a zombie sex slave. Who does that? Like, we talked about this earlier, but seriously, come on. And the most famous quote, probably in crime scene history, is, "Holy shit, there's a head in the freezer." Remember that?
Yeah.
This was when he would just he just decapitated a head and put it in his freezer, just memento or whatever. I think he was gonna cook it into a soup or something like that. As soon as they opened it up, that's what the police officer said. And when they found the crime scene, they went into Jeffrey's bedroom and he would photograph his victims after what he did. He had the photographs lined up on the bed, and then as soon as they walked in there, that's what they saw. Then they saw body parts in the closet, just everywhere. I
Did
mean,
you see that one crime scene photo where he had that guy's like rib cage ripped out? He was in the bath. He was laying like bathtub. He was laying like this.
no.
I remember when I was studying like earlier in high school. I didn't, I just looked through it. I checked through the crime scene photos because I was curious. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna do it. You know, checked it out. I seen that. I was just like, you can see his rib cage, man.
Yeah.
He cut, right down here.
That's crazy, man.
And just, and he just said disfigured. There's parts, genitals and fingers. You know what I mean? Just anything. It's just what does run through your mind? Nothing, I guess.
Obviously, no remorse.
He was set on that. That's what he wanted. That was his profession. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he loved.
Yeah, and like we said, man, the dude put the I in insane. Alright, that's just, and I just came up with that. That's
I agree with you, man.
Nice, man.
That was nice. I really do, though. I agree with you.
You have a personal kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer encounter, right?
My mom told me that when we were living in Milwaukee, and it was around the time that he was still alive, and he was living around the Milwaukee area, and they were on a transit, a bus, and they were sitting there, and they could see him there. He was sitting up towards the front of the bus, but he was holding a newspaper, and it was above his face where nobody could see him. So if you're thinking about it, his face was buried in the newspaper, and it looked like he was eating something. I don't know, I think that's what I was told. My mom, I'm not really sure on the whole facts, but when we got onto the bus, they said they walked past him and they seen him. They went to the back of the bus, and I guess that was like one of the closest encounters, I guess. It just blew my mind when she told me that, because it was me and my sister in the stroller. So it had to have been 90, maybe 93. And I was just blown away. And my mom said that one of her friends knew him too, or something like that, or because he worked at the chocolate factory where he used to work.
Really?
Yeah, Dahmer. So that kind of blew my mind, man. I didn't know what to say after that. That's fucking crazy, man.
Holy crap,
it's
man.
Crazy. It's, you guys can believe it or not, but, and...
Alright. Well, you heard it here from Channel 1 News. This is Jose the Cobra Lopez. And, no, I'm kidding. Alright, so we're gonna get down to my first one, and this is gonna be a pretty insanest one. And if any of you guys heard about this dude, hit that thumbs up, because a lot of people haven't heard about this guy. Yes, they've heard about Richard Ramirez, but they've never heard about the original Night Stalker. Jose made a point about that earlier, that there is an original Night Stalker, and it's not Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez was just called the Night Stalker. Original Night Stalker was based out of the late 1970s. His decade of terror was 1976 to 1986. And he was around in like the Bay Area in California. And back then, I think Sacramento's in the Bay Area. No, it's San Francisco. But he would go back and forth between Sacramento and San Francisco. And the thing that he would do is he would creep up into people's houses, but he would study them for a few days. And he would go up and creep up to people's houses. And he wouldn't burglarize or anything. He would just go in there. He was always wearing a ski mask with 2 holes cut out. And he had a light. And he would shine the light in the victim's face, and it was usually a woman. The woman would never see him, but she wouldn't see his face, but she would see his 2 eyes. And how scary would that be, just to be seeing 2 piercing eyes? The reflection of 2 eyes. You
don't know who's behind the mask. Can't even see anything else.
And he would tie them up, but he would use a Chinese knot. And if you've ever looked up a Chinese knot, it's really complex knot that you can do. And they think he was in the military for that, but some people aren't sure. It's hard to tell because the dude hasn't been caught. So he would tie these victims up just like that, and he would like rape them, but he wouldn't. You know how in like a rape kit, like when you do it on a woman, like something's happened on there, But when they did rape kits on these women, like everything was still intact, And they said that it's gonna be pretty mature subject, but they said he didn't, get hard when he was doing it, And it was just like what was he doing it for? Most of these serial killers that we know, they raped most of their women, like literally just like raped them, then just like kill them afterwards.
Got rid of them, disposed of them.
But he didn't kill any of his victims until they were starting to catch on to him. They believed he was sitting in on the city hall meeting where they were talking about the Night Stalker. That's how he knew about it. And then so that's when he started killing the victims.
He's like, I gotta get rid of the evidence,
Mm-hmm.
They got the city got tipped off, or you know what I mean.
And the thing about this area, or when this time frame was, there wasn't no fingerprinting or anything yet. That hadn't been invented until the late 90s, early 2000s. He was really like nitpicky about his crimes. When he started targeting couples after he went to the city hall meeting because they were like, oh, the Night Stalker only targets women. So he was like, nope, I'm going to change this up a bit. And so he would tie up the man, and put plates on him. And he would tell the man, if you move, I'll hear them plates and I'll come in here and I'll kill you. So the man never moved, but he would take the wife or the girlfriend into the other room and he would rape them. Or he would physically abuse them, or whatever he wanted to do with them. He actually talks while his teeth were clenched, so they didn't really know what his voice sounded like. And they say that he was a light man, but they also say that he didn't use all of his body weight on the women. And I think that's so they wouldn't know how big he was.
He could try to throw him off.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And another thing that really kind of was weird was one time after he did what he did, he went into the corner and he cried. And he knew that it was bad, but he just did it, He would just watch you for a few days, and then when the time was right, he would strike. Oh yeah, then after 1986, they believe that he moved to Montana, and they believe that he was in his late teens and early 20s, because of when he was trying to rape his victims. They said he wasn't experienced enough, or he didn't seem experienced enough, And so the reason why this is my first, my number one pick was because he was never caught. And if you think about it, if he's alive right now, you wouldn't know. I mean, he hasn't killed since, or at least he hasn't been caught yet. And it's been more than 30 years. So yeah, that was my top 5. Jose and I's top 5. I hope you guys liked that.
Lycaos top 5.
Oh yeah, Lycaos top 10.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Lycaos top 10. Hope you guys are interested in the serial killers as much as we are. They're interesting, if you think about it.
No, as I do every episode we've done, there's a lot that I learned today in today's episode, and we really hope you guys learn some new things. And
yep, so we hope you guys have a scary night.
Thanks for tuning
dreams. Yep, thanks for tuning in. And we're about to go and be gamers on Far Cry 4. This is
Lycaos Radio.
And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.